Assalamualaikum, my lovely student. Pleased to meet you. Today we will learn English again with Mrs. Feby, and the topic for today is about tenses, the 16 tenses that we need to learn in order to have a good conversation in English. And I have a student here who will represent your opinion about learning these tenses in English. So, would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Mentali.
Yeah, and what do you think about these English tenses?
Nothing.
Do you like to learn about it?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it important for you to know about it?
No.
Do you think it is easy to learn the tenses?
Maybe.
Alrighty then, let's go to the lesson. Before we go into the tenses, there are several things that you need to understand first. There are 7 subject pronouns in English: I, you, we, they, he, she, it. And there are 2 be that can be used in the continuous form. I followed by am, you, we, they will be followed by are, and he, she, it using the is as the to be. And these 2 be are in the present form. Later on, they can change into the past form. It will be was, were, was. And it could be changed into been if you use the perfect tense. Okay. The next is auxiliary verbs. You have to understand in the present form, the auxiliary verb is the do and does, and then in the past form, the do does will be changed into did, and next in the perfect form, it will be have or has. And the verb for I, normally using verb 1, that will be changed into verb 2 in the past form and will be changed into verb 3 in the perfect. Meanwhile, in the simple present, this he, she, it will use the verb 1 plus as. The object, you can use any kind of object, and for the adverb of time, you can use accordingly to the tenses. Now, let's go to the 16 tenses. There are 16 tenses that you need to understand in English, but actually you just need to understand small amount of it if only you know the key. So let's go to this. There is the time, present, past, future, and past future. And pay attention to the event, whether it's simple, continuous, perfect, or perfect continuous. So how to make those 16 tenses? If you want to make a simple present, the pattern will be subject followed by the auxiliary verb which only appear in negative or positive sentence. I will use do for I, you, we, they, and he, she, it, they will use does. Remember, this auxiliary verb only appear in the negative and interrogative sentence. The simple present will be followed by the verb 1. If there is does, you will use the verb 1. But in a positive sentence, when does doesn't appear, you use verb 1 plus as with sexy s. And then for the object, as usual, there is no specific object. You can add any kind of object, and the adverb of time normally using every day. The next is present continuous. In the present continuous, the pattern will be subject followed by to be. Okay, the to be in the present is these ones. So it will be I am. Normally after to be, please pay attention. After to be, you have to use verb 1 plus ing. So it will be like working, eating, playing, listening, reading, etc. And then followed by the object and adverb of time, normally now. The next is present perfect. In the present perfect, you have to use the have has as auxiliary verb followed by verb 3. Pay attention, every time there is perfect in the tenses, it will be followed by verb 3. And if it in the present, it will be using the verb 1. When it is in the past form, it will be using the verb 2. So, the next is the perfect continuous. Present perfect continuous. It means using the subject. You can choose any kind of subject. And then followed by have has. The one that will make the continuous is the to be. To be in the perfect form is been, rather than using this one in the present form, which is am, are, is, and then which in the past form will be changing into was, were. In the perfect time, it will be changing into been. So the pattern will be subject followed by have has, and then followed by been. What kind of verb do we need to use here? Every time you see this continuous form, you will use verb 1 plus ing. So it will be forming like this. I have been studying. She has been studying. The next is the past. Normally in the simple form, the past using verb 2, so it will be I went rather than using I go in the present, and it will be I will go. Remember, will is kind of a models that will be followed by verb 1. In the past future, it will be I would go. Don't forget this one. Actually, this one comes from a model form. Model in the present, model in the past, and it will be followed by verb 1. So models normally followed by verb 1. Please remember. And then after that, the past continuous. Remember, the continuous always using to be. Here is MR. To be in the past, was, were. To be in the future, will. And this to be, was, were, changing into be. And the past future using be too. When it is in a perfect form, look, present perfect, have has. Past perfect, the have has changing into the past form, had, still followed by verb 3 because it is in the perfect form. The next, the future, using will as the future form. And then use followed by, this is see, will followed by verb 1, so we use have rather than had. And this one is auxiliary verb, and it will be followed by verb 3. The past future using would as the future form, followed by, remember, would followed by verb 1, have auxiliary verb in a verb 1 form, and it will be followed by verb 3. The next is the perfect continuous. It will be almost the same like this one, but you need to add the been to make it the continuous form. So it will be I have been, I had been, followed by verb ing. So you see the pattern here, the to be. Every time there is to be, you need to use the verb ing. Let me make a rephrase again. So remember the subject, 7 subject. Always remember the to be. In the present is MR, and then in the past form it will be was, were, and in the perfect form it will be been. The next is the auxiliary verb. In the present it will be do does. In the past form it will be did, and in the perfect form it will be have has. Okay, the next is the verb. The present using verb 1, the past tense using verb 2, the perfect using verb 3. Don't forget the main thing. Every time you see to be, always using verb ing. That's why you see verb ing in every continuous. So to be and verb ing always connected, and they shouldn't be divided in this affirmative sentence. So I hope you can understand all the lesson that I have given you here. Actually, this one is only a slight glance of this English lesson. Hopefully you can make another understanding about English lesson in my next video, or just come to my offline class and we can meet face to face in class. Thank you for paying attention for the class, and don't forget to make a review over it and try to learn it again so you can understand it better. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for joining in with me, English with Mrs. Febi. Assalamualaikum. See you later.